Hello everyone. So welcome to today's our first practical session, that is engineering metrology. Here we are going to discuss the list of experiments. So you can see in your screen that is the first experiment, that is measure various dimensions of given components using radius gauge, vernier caliper, vernier height gauge, micrometer, and both the mechanical and digital micrometers. Then second, we are going to measure the bores of a given sample using internal micrometer and dial bore indicator. Then our third experiment is use pneumatic comparator, electronic comparator to measure the circularity roundness of a given specimen. Then fourth, we are going to discuss about how to use the slip gauges, combination of the set of slip gauges, then adjustable snap gauge, go and no go gauge for a given dimension. Then fifth experiment is measure gear tooth element using the gear tooth vernier caliper. Next one, measure the effective diameter of a screw thread using profile projector, tool maker microscope, etc. Then we are going to discuss about how the floating carriage micrometer is used to measure minor and major effective diameter of a screw thread. Then finally we are going to discuss about the next practical, measure unknown angle of a given tapered component using sine center in combination with the slip gauges. Then ninth experiment is about use of bevel protractor and clinometer to measure the angle and the taper of a given component. Then 10th one is using an angle decker autocollimator to measure the angle of a taper component. Then 11th practical is about measure the flatness of a given component. Then interpreting the fringe patterns using the monochromatic light source and optical flat. Then 12th practical is about measure the flatness of a given surface plate using the spirit level. Then the 13th one is about measuring of a surface roughness using Talisker option or Talisker roughness tester. Then 14th practical, use dial indicator to check the lathe machine parameter like parallelism, squareness, trueness, alignment, etc. Then finally, the 15th and last practical is about measure the runout of a cylinder component using dial indicator. So in this experimental list, what we are going to cover or what we will get from this course, then here are the course outcome. So let us see, the first course outcome is select the relevant instrument for measurement. Then the second course outcome is use of different type of comparator. Then third one is select gauge, fit and tolerance for machine components. Then fourth outcome is use of relevant instrument to measure different parameter of a screw thread gear. Then the fifth one is use of linear and angular measuring instruments. And final one, the sixth course outcome is select relevant surface testing method. So this is our lab manual. So we are going to discuss how exactly the lab manual is framed by MSPT. Here you can see the list of practicals as we have earlier discussed. Then we are going to conduct such kind of practicals. That is first practical. This one is second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh and eighth. And finally, you will see here the 15th practical. And we are going to discuss about how the practical significance is given, relevant program outcomes are given, competency and what kind of skill you are getting from this practical. It is clearly seen here. Then relevant course outcome, as we have earlier discussed, there are 6 course outcomes as per our course. Then you can see the detailed experiment setup. You will see here the vernier caliper, then digital vernier caliper, micrometer, then the resource used in your laboratory for such kind of for taking the reading of a practical. Here you can see the resource used, then actual procedure followed, then the precautions followed. Then you will see here observation table and calculations, and finally you will get the result and conclusion. So this is the work manual for your practicals. So we are going to discuss in depth what kind of instrument we are going to use for a different kind of practicals. So first of all, we are going to discuss about what kind of instrument, what kind of setup is used for measuring such kind of readings. So here we can say, here it is a surface plate, which is the standard one for taking measurement or any kind of measurement. You should keep your component here and you have to take the reading from surface plate. So this is the standard one and it is made up of a granite material. So you can use fiberglass and CI also. So here we are going to discuss how exactly the vernier caliper is used. So here you can see there are two jaws. In first practical we are going to discuss, or experiment we are going to discuss how exactly the vernier caliper is used to measure the internal dimension as well as external dimension. Here you can see there is a one movable jaw and one fixed jaw. In this portion or in this jaw you can find out the external parameters of a given component. Here you can find out the internal diameter or a depth of a particular component. There are two types of scales given here. First one is a main scale, you can see here. Then here it is, you will get the vernier scale. So we are going to discuss how exactly the least count of a particular instrument is carried out. So this is all about the vernier caliper. So let us see what exactly the dial indicator and dial stand is. Here you can see the dial stand, which is one type of a comparator. This is not an instrument, it is only used to compare the dimensions of a component with standard value. So here you can see it is a plunger, and you can see the movement of a plunger in your dial indicator. This is a mechanical type indicator. Here you can see the grinded surface or the lapped surface here. Here you can put your component and you can take measurements. It is rest on surface plate. So while you are taking any reading, you must have to put it on your standard surface plate. So you can see the total setup, and here it is the dial gauge indicator which we have taken for maintenance. Here you can see the mechanism. This is a plunger, and which is spring return plunger. You can see here it is made up of a Mitutoyo. You can see the least count of a particular Mitutoyo dial gauge indicator. Here you can see how exactly the setup is given. The screen, zero screen, you can say it as a zero screen, and this particular rotating screen is called as a bezel. So this is the standard type of a dial indicator used in laboratories, inspection labs and experimental labs. So here it is all about your dial gauge indicator. Let us see the next devices or the instrument used for measurement. So this is micrometer screw gauge, which is used for measurement of a component. It works as per the rule. Here you can see there is a circular scale as well as the micrometer scale engraved on it. You can see here this one is a fixed jaw and this one is a movable jaw. You can find the barrel on which you can give rotary movement, and you can find out there is a circular scale which is from 0 to 50 given here, and its range is given here 25 mm to 50 mm. So you can measure only above the 25 to 50 mm diameter component. So here you can find out the external parameters, thickness, diameter or any grooves here. So it is of 25 to 50 mm. You can see over here the another one is placed, that is of 0 to 25 mm, which is having the small capacity. You will find out the thimble here. This particular thimble is given to apply unique pressure or uniform pressure on a measuring component so that you can find out the accurate reading. So first of all we have to make it zero position here to taking readings. We have matched here 0 to 0. In first practical we are going to learn what is exactly mean by least count, how we have to take a reading by micrometer as well as vernier caliper. Here you can also see the tube micrometer, which works on the same principle of a micrometer screw gauge. We are using micrometer screw gauge over vernier caliper because it's having accurate least count, or we can say more least count than the vernier caliper. So here you can see this is used for 5 mm to 30 mm. It is exactly as like as your micrometer screw gauge. Here you can see measurement of a bore is done with this tube micrometer. So here also we can find out the bore micrometer or a tube micrometer setup. Here you can find the plunger like structure. Here you can place the dial indicator, which is made up of a Baker instrument manufacturer, and from this you can find out the inside tube diameter of any component which you are going to take the readings. Here you can see, you can put out the plunger inside the tube micrometer and you can find out the readings by using dial gauge indicator. Further we are going to discuss about this. So this is a one kind of diameter measuring device you can find. So here this is also a thread measuring micrometer. The all principle is same like your micrometer screw gauge, but you can find out the ends or the anvils are changed. Those are like Acme thread grade. You will get the effective diameter from this. Okay, so soon we are going to calculate the diameter, effective diameter of a particular screw thread gauge. These kind of threads are measured using such kind of screw thread micrometers. So let us see, in further lecture we are going to, further practical we are going to discuss about the feeler gauges. The feeler gauges are particularly used for measuring the distance between two surfaces. These are having different kind of thicknesses for measurement of different kind of thickness. Here the practical application I will show you. Here you can see the spark plug which is used in IC engines to make the things happen. So here you can see the gap between two electrodes or the cap, it is properly maintained. So when you have to check such kind of gaps, you have to use the feeler gauge. Here you can see the 2 mm feeler gauge is used here to measure the gap between two electrodes. So such kind of gauges are called feeler gauges. Here also you will see the thread gauges, or you can see this is the standard masterpiece, and you have to measure the thread pitch or the TPI from this kind of thread gauges. So it is a kind of thread gauge which is used to measure the TPI by direct component. So there are n number of procedures to measure the thread by using screw thread method. Also you can use the profile projector, but here it is the instant and accurate method to measure thread gauges. So here you can get the feeler gauge, you will get the radius gauge or the fillet gauge. You will find the diameter range here 8.5, then you will find 9, 7.5. So these kind of gauges are used to measure the instant radius by using this feeler radius gauge. Here you can find, here you will find the internal diameters, here you will find the external diameters. So in this component, this is the internal diameter, and here you can find the external radius. So such kind of radiuses or the diameters can be found out by using this radius gauge or a fillet gauge. So next we will come to the pneumatic comparator, that is used to measure the bore diameter using pneumatic principle. So this is the gauge head, and which is connected to a device that is called pneumatic comparator, which is works on a back pressure principle, and by this you have to calculate the deviation from the standard diameter. So the basic standard diameter is given here, the gauge diameter is printed here, so you can directly find out from the standard or the master size how it is get deviated. So in third experiment we are going to discuss how exactly the pneumatic comparator works. So here are the standard gauges or the standard masterpieces from which we are going to set the standard limit. So coming to the Next device or the instrument, that is dial vernier caliper. In this you will find out how exactly the Mitutoyo dial gauge indicator is placed here to give the exact variation from the masterpiece. You will find here it is a conventional main scale and which is engraved on the fixed jaw, and here it is you will find out the Mitutoyo dial indicator, from which you will find out how exactly your component is deviated from master size. So we are going to discuss how exactly these kind of vernier calipers are used in our further practical sessions. So let us see. These are the components, how we are going to measure. This is the inside mechanism of previous seen dial indicator type vernier calipers. So this is exactly how these are works. So you will find the proper mechanism. You can see here a rotating gear inside the vernier caliper. So these are the components of which we are going to measure all our internal as well as external sizes or external parameters. So this is all about our first practical session. So let us see how the gauges and the snap gauges are exactly works. So we can find out these are the gauges, go or no go gauges. This is not an instrument, this is inspection device. From this you can directly comment it is okay or not okay. You cannot find the exact dimension or exact parameter of that particular component, so you can only comment it is okay or not okay. This side is given as a go side. You can find out here this is a go side. This is a thread plug gauge to measure the M12 1.75 H6 type of a grade. So you can find out this is a go side and this is a no go side. Likewise you can find out the plug gauge which is used to measure the inside bore. This is a go side and this is no go side. As I said earlier, these type of gauges are used in mass production and you cannot find the exact dimension from these gauges. You will only comment that is the component is okay or not okay. This is for internal parameters and this is used, this is called snap gauge, fixed snap gauge, which is used to find out the external diameters or the external features. You can also find out here it is engraved go and no go. So this is having the flat ends, you can find out here, and you will see the red notch that indicates the zone of a no go is going to start. If the component is passes from the no go, the component is rejected. So these particular gauges are used in mass production. Here also you can find out the ring gauge, which is also used to find out the external features of a shaft as well as a rotary components or a round components. Here you can find out the dimensions or the size of a particular shaft or a hole, that is 30G6. You can find out the 30G6. So it is all about the today's practical session. In further practical session we are going to discuss the first practical, that is measurement of a various component using vernier caliper, micrometer and micrometer or vernier height gauge. So this is all about our today's practical session. In this we are going to cover all our practicals as per our syllabus, and that is the 15th practical. As per the COs and POs we are going to cover the all required outcomes from this. So thank you very much.